Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so honored to have on Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and founding member of the incredible Beach Boys, Mike Love. Mike, thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Well, it is, after all, rock review, you know?
And you are rock and roll. You know, it's like I was telling you earlier, you know, with your solo work and everything in the past too, I've been trying to get you on the show. And so now I finally get you on when you're coming to Nashville to the Nashville Symphony Schermerhorn for 3 nights.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. I mean, our songs, we love doing them by ourselves, but when we get the chance to do it with the symphony, it's truly amazing. It really, you know, really is going to be beautiful.
Well, you know, and I mean, the obvious question on this, Mike, is I assume that you will be conducting the orchestra, right?
No, I will not.
What?
No, we have a musical director who's very, very gifted. He was 18 years with a group called the Four Freshmen. The Four Freshmen, the original group, really influenced my cousin Brian and I in terms of those refined harmonies. So we added those harmonies to that Chuck Berry kind of and Everly Brothers kind of blend.
Right.
And there you go with the Beach Boys sound.
Well, you know, and it's such an incredible sound. And I can't believe this, Mike, you know, having grown up with your music myself and, you know, with all the hits, I mean, you know, with the millions of albums you've sold, you know, California Dreaming and all that stuff, and that you and the band are still going strong, starting from the 60s, and we're in 2023 right now. How have you made that happen?
Well, you know, you got to make lifestyle choices, right? A lot of people got seduced by too much alcohol or too much drugs and stuff, and some of it are no longer with us. My cousin Carl, he was an amazing singer, but he started smoking when he was like 12 years old, and the statistics aren't good. So, you know, he contracted lung cancer, and that was awful loss, you know. But my son Christian is now singing God Only Knows, which Carl sang on the Pet Sounds album.
Right.
He's a fantastic singer, very talented, very proud of him. And so the family tradition carries on.
That is amazing. You know, we were talking about your daughter collecting vinyl also before we started the interview. And I think that so many of the Beach Boys songs, which, you know, I don't know how you're going to select which songs to play. I mean, are you going to have a different set list every night here in Nashville, or what are you going to do?
We have a little bit different set list for symphonies, because there's some songs, like for instance, in the Pet Sounds album, that go really beautifully with the symphony.
Right.
But we always do our, you know, our hits that we're known for: Surfing USA, I Get Around, Fun, 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 California Girls. You know, the Pet Sounds album has God Only Knows, Wouldn't It Be Nice, and Sloop John B. But we're going to do a song called Here Today on from that album. And so, you know, it's just Kokomo was #1 in 1988. It was on the Cocktail soundtrack, the Tom Cruise movie, you know.
Right.
And anyway, so we've got a ton of songs, and we're very blessed to be able to do them, you know, 6 decades after we started.
Well, you know, Mike, I was listening to the Beach Boys music, obviously, and that's nothing new, because I think so many of us listen to your music. But, you know, once again, with Kokomo, I was thinking every time Tom Cruise does a new movie, Kokomo must go up again. It just, you know, it must go back into everybody's playlist, right?
I don't know about that. I don't keep track of stuff like that. However, Full House, Tom, you know, like our friend John Stamos had us on Full House, and we've been recognized from doing Kokomo on Full House by millions of kids.
You know, I was going to bring that up too, because obviously John, you know, has worked with you guys in the past, and it's so neat to see that tie-in with Full House and with the Beach Boys. And once again, Mike, you guys have been on so many TV shows over the years, and your music has been in so many films, video games, everything else. It's really a part of American culture.
Yeah, in fact, Fun, Fun, Fun is in the new Barbie movie. How about that? Yeah.
Oh, you got a whole new audience again.
That's amazing. It really,
you know, and some of our viewers may not realize this, Mike, but, you know, during the British invasion, the Beach Boys were one of the few bands that still stayed the course and did well during that time.
As a matter of fact, Good Vibrations came out in 1966 in the fall, and we were voted the #1 group in Great Britain, #2 being the Beatles. Is that amazing or what?
That is amazing.
Now, there's nobody more successful than the Mop Tops, but what are you going to do? We held our own, and we'd had some great fans in England and Germany and Japan and Australia and all over the world. It's been fascinating.
Well, and the Beach Boys sell out shows everywhere you go. And I think a lot of it, Mike, and you can probably say this better than me, harkens back to that time with the surfing and with the good times and with, things were prosperous. And the Beach Boys help symbolize that with the music you guys come in with the harmonies.
Yeah, I call the Beach Boys music a sonic oasis. It's kind of a way to get away from it all, like it says in Kokomo, but we always wanted to accentuate the positive. I mean, there's always been negative things going on in people's personal lives and the country, and Vietnam War was going on, but at the same time, we're doing Good Vibrations and just accentuating the positive. I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair.
Right.
A girl that's all about peace and love.
Mm-hmm. But I've got to hand this to you, Mike. That and certainly you as a songwriter and a performer and a singer, it's like, speaking of Good Vibrations, you guys broke ground with that. And with the Pet Sounds and with Smile and everything. Really, the Beach Boys were pushing the envelope of rock and roll at that time, and people don't realize it because it was back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, a lot of people would do a song and then their follow-up would sound just like the other one, but their hit. But my cousin Brian was, he was not like that. He would do a different tempo, a different mood, a different subject matter, and I would write the words and come up with a lot of the hooks and the concepts for the songs. I was the one who told him, hey, we got to do a song about a girl who borrows her father's car and says she's going to the library when she really goes cruising through the hamburger stand,
I got to ask you this too, Mike, because, so many of your songs are so recognizable with the Beach Boys, but, did you pull a lot of those lyrics and everything from your life, from real life instances? Because now they belong to all of us.
Yes, we did. We lived just a few miles from the beach, and the beach was a big deal for us. And so, back in California in the late 50s, early 60s, there was the surfers and the hodads. There's people that were into surfing and they dressed a certain way and they talked a certain way.
Right.
And we took that and that influence of the environment in Southern California. How do you get to the beach? In a car in California. I mean, you have subways, different places and stuff, but we took the cars and we loved the cars, those fantastic Detroit's fantastic artistic offerings, and we sang about them. So we sang about surfing, the cars, the lifestyle, California girls. I mean, wish they all could be California girls,
It's such a great song. Yeah, we were just talking about all of your songs earlier before I came in to interview you. And that was the thing I was going to bring up also, is just how do you keep your voice still as incredible as it is, Mike, after all these years? Because you're known for kind of being the front man of the Beach Boys and being out on stage and working the crowd. How do you maintain those vocals?
Well, I never smoked. I don't drink too much. I mean, I enjoy, a little bit of this and that from time to time, but no drugs and no cigarettes. So that can really screw your voice up and your life up. So I was fortunate enough to learn meditation, transcendental meditation from Maharishi in December of '67. And I was invited to go to India by him. And I did, in fact, go in the spring of '68. In fact, George Harrison and I both had our birthdays in India that year. When I got there, I didn't know it beforehand, but the Beatles were all there. That was amazing. So, I had my birthday in March 15th, and George Harrison was February 25th, I think. Or anyway, we both had our birthdays in India that year, and that was a fascinating time. But the meditation has been with me all that. I practice it every day, and it's really good because it gives you more energy and clarity, but deep rest and relaxation. So you get rid of all the tension and stress that can accumulate.
Right. And that helps your voice and everything you do, and it's kept you in such great shape.
Yeah, I can still sing the songs in the same original keys and everything, which is great. And we're obsessed about making them sound as close to the record as possible.
Well, and the harmonies are so good. And some of our viewers may not realize, I've got to ask you, Mike, to where when you started out singing family events with your cousins and everything back in the day before the Beach Boys really formed, I think it was called the Pendletons first, but it's like, did you have any idea that decades later you would still be doing this?
Had no idea about it, but I'll tell you what, it's a huge blessing to be able to do a lifetime of music. And I always say facetiously, I say, it beats a real job.
Well, you're such a great entertainer, Mike. And so I've got to ask you this, with this tour that the Beach Boys are doing, obviously with the Nashville Symphony. So are you guys going around the country and working with a number of symphonies all around?
We're doing the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Symphony Orchestra. Yeah.
Wow.
That'll be pretty fascinating. From time to time, we do stuff with the symphony. We're doing 3 days at the Schermerhorn, or 3 nights, that is. Mm-hmm. We're doing 3 nights with the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Symphony and fireworks, because we're doing the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of July. So that's going to be fascinating. But our normal show is an hour of music with a 20-minute intermission followed by another hour of music. So in the theaters around the world.
That's incredible, because you've got such a depth of music, and with all the millions of albums you've sold and with the #1 hits, the list goes on and on, Mike, with just choosing what songs, because you have so many great ones. And it's like, and I just it's perfect time to listen to this music, with spring and going into summer, and like your great shirt that you have on. It's like, this is happy music with the Beach Boys,
That is true. And we like to keep it upbeat and positive. We'll get a little introspective within my room, and God only knows, there's a song called Warmth of the Sun, which is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
My cousin Brian and I did, and beautiful harmonies and stuff. But we're going to start with the surfing songs. I like to get retro and start with the Surfing Safari and Surfing USA and that kind of thing, and then go and maybe do Surfer Girl and then into the car songs.
Right. Well, it gets the crowd all whipped up then, right?
That's true. The upbeat and it really it's interesting to see multiple generations come out. Grandparents and their kids and the grandchildren come out. And everybody enjoys the Beach Boys, all ages, which is awesome.
And I think that's one of the great things too, Mike, is that with the Beach Boys, the young people, all ages, can come and enjoy it. It's not just one for one group of people, like you said, and it's got to make you feel good and the whole band feel good when you see people, from multi-generations coming to see your shows.
That is probably the one thing that keeps me interested in going out and touring. Sometimes you get tired of the travel, because it is a long ways here between shows sometimes. But the wonderful thing is the audience response and the participation of the audience. If they're singing along with us on "Help Me Rhonda" or "California Girls" or Barbara Ann or "Fun Fun Fun" or "Kokomo" or "Good Vibrations," that people actually get into it and they actually sing along with us and stuff.
And that's got to be an amazing feeling as an artist that you are, when the crowd is singing the songs back with you that you've performed all your life.
It is. It's a blessing, and it's wonderful. And like I said, it's probably the main reason we keep doing it.
Well, I got to ask you this too, Mike, because your book came out back in 2016. Do you think you're going to have to update your book at some point, because your career has kept going?
I am going to update the book. I have an album that's out, and there's a song on it called "Make Love Not War." And so that's, I remember back in the 60s Marvin Gaye doing "What's Going On."
Right.
Remember that song? Beautiful.
Great song.
Great song. Fantastic. He was a fantastic artist. I was friends with him. Yeah, so, and it's still going on, the stupid wars and stuff. I think it's time that we, as human beings, invented a better way to work things out.
Definitely. Well, and that's another thing too, Mike, I've got to brag on you, because you won't do it yourself, is all the charity work that you've done in the past also. And you've been recognized multiple times for your charity work. And certainly that involves the environment and other things that are near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, George Herbert Walker Bush started the Points of Light Foundation, and we were the first people to come up with a project called Star Serve, students taking action and responsibility and service. So we've been at it a long time, and we realized that, I mean, I feel that the best use of your celebrity, if you have any, is to contribute to philanthropic efforts, whether it be, like you say, with the environment or humanity in need, you know?
Well, I want to make sure too, Mike, because you're going to be here 3 nights in Nashville with the Nashville Symphony. And so, and those tickets are going to sell out fast, and you're going to have some cool merch also. Where should our viewers go for all things Beach Boys so they can make sure and get their tickets early and maybe buy some merch early?
I think you can check out the Schermerhorn. That's where we're going to be, and they'll be glad to give you some tickets, I'm sure.
Well, you know, and I'm betting you might have a few guests and people that you've worked with over the years pop in from here in Nashville. You know a few people, Mike.
Well, we have known people, and Glenn Campbell was in our group for a while.
Oh, I know.
He was
an incredible talent.
Brilliant artist, and it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sad day to lose him, that was for sure. But our friends Locash, if they're in town, they'll probably show up, you know.
Yeah. Isn't that great though for you, Mike, for you and the Beach Boys to be able to have, you know, these young up and coming bands and, you know, still point to the Beach Boys for their harmonies and for the music and everything, and for rock and roll that you've brought through the years.
It's a lot of fun. And with Locash, they called us and said, "Would you like to sing on our song Beach Boys?" And I said, "Well, heck yes." And so they tracked us down. We were in the South somewhere at an amphitheater, and they came in with their bus and their recording equipment, and we did our parts, and then we ended up doing a few shows with them. You know, it's been a lot of fun.
How incredible. And I know also, Mike, that in your spare time, not that you have much, but you're also working on more original work of music for yourself too, right?
Well, yeah, I keep fiddling around with it, so to speak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're always booking shows. We're booking into next year already.
Oh, sure.
We're planning on going to Europe again, and it keeps you busy, but it's a good busy, you know. Right. It's all positive. It's all good.
Just like the Beach Boys music, all positive and all good. Good vibrations.
We try to keep it on the up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can't wait to see you here in Nashville. Mike Love of the Beach Boys. I'll tell you what, you're a legend, and thanks for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you for having me on the Rock Review.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.